video, we'll be taking a look at Kameleono by MIDI Mood, an innovative VST AU MIDI multi-effects plugin suitable for many applications such as songwriting, producing, live performance and jamming. We'll be taking a look at how we can set up Kameleono in Logic Pro and Ableton Live, and how we can use the sidechain MIDI input to very quickly and effectively create melodic patterns. So in order to set up Kameleono in Logic Pro, we need to create a software instrument, but a multi-timbral 2-parts instrument. Then we could go ahead and load Kameleono as an AU. It features an inbuilt synthesizer, so we can test the signal. Now we turn on the Arpeggiator. We'll get notes in, but we won't get any notes out. We can now use a MIDI region to trigger the notes out, acting like a sidechain. With only one note playing on the MIDI region, it won't play back polyphonically. We need to now add extra notes on our MIDI region to trigger the extra notes that it receives as input. With only 2 notes playing at a time there, we'll only get 2 notes back, no matter how many notes we put in. In order to get those extra notes out, we need to add extra notes onto our MIDI region. With Kameleono set up in this way, we can now swap out the AU for an instrument of our choice. Loading in RetroLog. And now I can load Kameleono as a MIDI effects plugin. Turning on the Arpeggiator again. Now let's go and load a more interesting preset into RetroLog. And let's use our sound here where we have a chord to trigger RetroLog to play back according to these sidechain notes. We could then start editing these notes to change the rhythm. Then we could change the chords that play back using our notes in region. So now we'll take a look at setting up Kameleono with Ableton Live. For starters, we need 2 MIDI tracks, one for the pattern and one for the notes in. We can then load Kameleono onto the notes in track. And hear Kameleono's inbuilt synthesizer. Now let's turn the Arpeggiator on. We now need to set up, for starters, route the MIDI out from the pattern to the notes in and select channel 2. As that's the channel 2 is set here on the pattern input on our notes in channel. And then we can create a MIDI clip on here. playing this and then playing some notes. In order to trigger chords, we need more than one note on our MIDI clip. Now let's take a look at how we can use another software instrument rather than using Kameleono's inbuilt synthesizer. In order to do this, we need to set up a new MIDI channel. This will act as our notes out. We can load a synthesizer on here, and let's look at a polyphonic synth sound. We can now look at the MIDI from channel and select our notes in track. And select Kameleono in the next drop down. Now we need to arm both tracks, both our notes in and our notes out. We could actually rename this instrument notes out. Now we're using to trigger silent. Be sure to check out Kameleono by MIDI Mood, which is available now at adsrsounds.com.